Greetings, everybody. My name is Coinstamp, and welcome on in to another episode of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Since I'm on time today, I started speaking before it turned, 1:04 p.m. I will take a moment to play the camera mini game and, thank our wonderful contributors during this month's cycle. Thank you to Just Me Carly 917 and Shiny of Hyrule Nest for their Prime or Tier 1 subscriptions. I do hope you guys enjoy the benefits and privileges that come along with that. I would also like to thank Mr. Gordo Goku for their continued patronage over on Patreon with their Valkyrie tier membership. Please do enjoy the benefits and privileges that come along with such a membership. Thank you to Mr. Rasby the Player for their continued Valkyrie tier membership over at Coffee. Please do enjoy the benefits and privileges that go along with your Valkyrie tier membership. And while I do not have any one-off contributors this month, I would like to thank people who have donated directly in the past. That helps me out bunches, more than you know, more than I can describe, I should say. If you guys want your names on these placards, which I have just read from, do feel free to chuck money at me. Any purchase or maintenance of a subscription package or a one-time donation of $2 or more during the cycle gets your names on these placards. It is the smallest way I have to give back to you for throwing money at me. That said, why don't we explain ourselves, and also let's let me mute the TV. There, that little problem should be fixed. No more echoing. Bookkeeping, but before we do any bookkeeping, let us catch up with chat. Greetings to Mr. Gordo Goku and Mr. Jason on the red and purple apps respectively. Welcome on in. Good to see you both. Hopefully you both are doing well in body and mind, and I hope you both enjoy your stay. I'll start with the red app and move over. Mr. Gordo Goku says, good afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. I'm well, thank you. Just watching me and the Olympics if you get quiet. Sorry, no worries. No worries. Enjoy the Olympics. I hope they're good. And it is good to see you, Mr. Jason. Because he says, greetings, good sir. Oh, why is there a count of 1 on this? That I legitimate don't understand. That should be fresh. Mr. Jason says, always good to see you as well, good sir. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Bookkeeping time. I got a lot of things to go over. And then we'll start our 20-minute conversation. Yeah, I don't want bookkeeping to take up the timer, so I want us to have 20 minutes of actual chit-chat. So let me explain what happened last time and, you know, what I had to do off camera. I'm still working on the footage, which is why it has not been, you know, released yet. Last time on The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, we upgraded most of the armor sets. I would say all of them, but we had a few where the totals just weren't right. I have already corrected those totals on the sheet. It's something like 200 or 200 large zonite to upgrade everything. And like 1 more horn. You basically always need 5 horns to upgrade things, to upgrade everything. With the exception of the Light Dragon. Her totals are lower a little bit. That has been corrected. Thankfully, I did not need to do anything else. I have taken all of that footage and I am working on it. Hopefully within the next couple of days, because this weekend was kind of foobar, at least me personally. With any amount of effort, this should get done by today or tomorrow, and the stream will be replaced with the video. Other than that, nothing else really happened off camera, and we've covered what happened last time. Today, we are gonna be cooking everything, and I'm gonna be checking totals while we're chit-chatting away. I'm gonna take some time to do that. In fact, I can specifically refer to my planning book and go from there, and hopefully I should not need more than 1 internet tab today. Right. I'm gonna look at totals while we're chatting for the next 20 minutes, or around the next 20 minutes. Same deal today as what happened on Friday. You know, I have the soundboard still no, the soundboard has not been killed. Let me go ahead and fix that because that is supposed to be gone. There we go. It's moving slowly but surely. Everything else has not been turned on, so today we're going to be cooking all of the we're going to be showing off all 228 base recipe cards. Now, of course, there are more recipe cards than that. Oh, this is kind of important. Mr. Jason says, by the way, Mr. Quinn and Seremus channel, you made the command Robot Mill that says, hey all, is Robot Mill the developer of the amazing game of the same name? Please do check out their game on Steam when typed. Nice. We're down to the final 11 clients before the big 250. Excellent. Enjoy your lurk, good sir. I should also preface and say, you know, I know this is boring content. Like, I'm very keenly aware of that, but that I'm here standing on business as, you know, part of a walkthrough Let's Play. That's kind of the whole point of all this, was to do that. And I intend to see my vision through to the end, and that means cooking. Today we're going to be cooking. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer because I've pretty much been done with the bookkeeping for like a couple minutes now. I just need to find the correct timer here. Mr. Gordo Goku says he wouldn't be here if it was boring. Fair enough. Hopefully it should be less boring and less suggestive today. We definitely we're playing only Fairy Simulator Friday. I do not. That was not my finest hour. But here we are. You know, the moaning is over. You guys will not be subjected to it anymore, and neither will I, for that matter. I felt really bad. I get people told me, you know, it was fine. You know, this was planned. It was planned. But that still doesn't change the fact that people watching it are going to think it's softcore prawn or corn. People are going to do that. And I'm going to be, I'm going to be raked over the hot coals by IRL friends because, you know, it was 2 hours and 15 or 30 minutes of moaning. So I still feel bad about it, but over and done. How was everyone's weekend? My weekend was okay, ish. I did say it was foobar, but that's mostly not feeling great about the state of the world. I've been running myself ragged with reports on the news, you know, about fresh forbidden files being released. I hate that. It kept me awake this morning at about 2 or 3 in the morning, and the morning before that. Like, I know I'm stressing my body out, like, big time, but it's important stuff. Because the cabal of the wicked is in charge of this world right now. And I don't only mean, you know, here at home for me. I mean, the cabal of the wicked around the world is in charge. And I'm not sure we're going to be able to vote our way out of, like, any countries are going to be able to vote their way out of how things have been. I think things are going to require a bit more of a grassroots effort than that, personally. But other than that, you know, I went ahead and did the recordings around Saturday or so. I took the rest of Friday to just kind of, you know, veg out. Although, I say veg out. I actually took a lot of that Friday just grinding up ore. I ground up extra ore just to make sure I could get all the upgrades effectively with the game. That took the longest amount of time to do. The waiting around on Farosh to get an extra Farosh horn was nothing compared to running laps for like 3+ hours to get 10 more ore than I actually needed. It's just wild stuff. But my Saturday was fine, and then, you know, yesterday I had a steak. I had a steak with a baked potato and some, some steamed Brussels sprouts for dinner. I'm sorry, they're actually sauteed Brussels sprouts for dinner. It was pretty good. I didn't eat it all. I had the rest of what was left over from yesterday for breakfast today, but, how did I have the steak? Medium well. I trust my dad to know what he's doing with steak. Medium well. When I'm out in public, I tend to just get it well done. And it was a bone-in ribeye, very specifically. You like medium? That's fair. I learned yesterday that one of my uncles also likes his steak medium. Look, as long as it ain't bleeding, I'll survive. Bloody medium rare, like my stepmother likes medium rare steak, and I don't judge her for it, but I do find the medium rare steak itself gross, and you can get parasites from that. It's not trichinosis because, beef is processed differently than a lot of other stuff. There's more stringency on it. Well, no, there's more stringency on chicken. There are fewer parasites in beef, but the ones that are in beef, you do need to be very careful with. The same is true of fish. Mr. Gordo Goku says, usually when you say medium, it gets cooked over medium. Yeah, like my steak was cooked over to medium well. Like, slight bit of pink, closer to where the bones were, kind of not really all that pink everywhere else, which is fine. I had a background in, or I have an education, or had an education in STEM and biology very specifically. And of course, if you're studying to be biology, you tend to learn a lot about medicine as well, or at least a fair amount about medicines and how they work, or why doctors do certain things. And you learn that lots of things that people drink are unsanitary, and lots of things that people eat are not safe, or you learn from people that go on to have a specialty in food sciences. Yes, that is a thing. It very specifically deals with food sciences very specifically deal with how food is stored, how it is manufactured, if it's, factory food, conditions for storing, maintenance, and travel, how it is stored or possibly maintained in grocery stores, or in farmers markets, that kind of thing. You learn the basics. It's the really specific proprietary stuff still depends on where you're getting your stuff from, but you learn the general protocols of what you're supposed to do with food, or what you're supposed to do to have safe food. Gordo Goku says he thought the red juice is muscle protein and not blood. Well, some of it is, but some of it isn't. Some of it is blood. That's why it still has that red color. Now, you're supposed to drain steaks of blood, so that all you're seeing is muscle protein. But let me put it this way. Even if that is correct, and all that is muscle protein, I don't want to take a chance that someone didn't drain the steak of blood properly before cooking or other stuff. I don't want to take that chance. I would rather just have my meat charred dead. It's safer to eat that way and causes less issues. You know, just don't char it to a crisp either. I like my steak well done. I don't like it crispy. Charring meat has its own problems. Black marks are full of carcinogens on meat. So when you see sear on meat, you don't want to... Well, you eat it with the knowledge that you're gambling with your health. Especially knowing what we know now. You put yourself at risk for cancer when you eat stuff like that. So I try not to have I try not to have super charred meat if at all possible. If something's blackened like that, you just cut it out. At least that's what I do anyway. Sweet tea is another thing I've learned about. I'm in the deep south. Sweet tea is a common thing here in the south. Mr. Gordo Goku says you don't want it overdone. Is all no worries. You want to chew it? Understandable. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I don't judge people for how they eat their meat. You know, I can find the meat. I can find the meat itself gross or, you know, unsanitary, but that's people have to be in charge of their own health. And ultimately, if stuff is cooked right, then the risk is minimal. It's not zero risk, but minimal risk. And some amount of risk is healthy. So, Mr. Gordo Goku says you don't know how it looks at first, but after is better. Of course. Also, I'm definitely not doing what I was supposed to be doing, which is, we could keep talking. I just need to actually get in and do a quick inspection on all of our materials that we're going to need for this. So I might not be able to respond right away. Yep, we have plenty of that. There we go. I knew I was having an audio issue in some way, shape, or form. I've got plenty of those. Got plenty of those. Yep, got plenty of those. Thank you for your latitude, Mr. Gordo Goku. But I do hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. Other than driving myself ape, yeah, my weekend was fine. I just hope that, and I'm gonna find out sooner rather than later. I hope that we don't have to do, I don't have to, like, suddenly grind in the middle of all this. That would be awful to find out. Because that means all this planning I did, I very clearly did not, like, check it enough. And, you know, I've done more for Tears of the Kingdom than I did with Breath of the Wild. I did way more for this game than I did for Breath of the Wild. And this is me just waxing poetic about my stream for a minute, or, like, my history. It's truffles. I'm looking for truffles. That's why I was having an issue. Mr. Gordo Goku says, can't be worse than the fairy noises. You right, though. You kid. You jest. But trust me, you're right. At least in my opinion, you're correct anyway. And that's the only bloody opinion. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But, you know, your opinion is relevant here. It does matter. Nothing is worse than the Koroks and the fairies. My God, I did not know woodland sprites would be so problematic. I did not think that woodland creatures and mythical entities would be such a large problem. At least in terms of audio with this game anyway. Let me go back up here. Do we have the whole bird? I definitely need to double check. Yep, 10, and 20. Yep, we have plenty of those. Plenty of bass. Oh, way too many bright-eyed crabs. 2 extra carp. Oh. Okay, cool. I did, in fact, make sure not to use the chillfin trout in the meat and seafood, or that was going to be a problem. Although, really, any trout works. It's just wanting to make sure you use specific ones for planning purposes. Mr. Gordo Goku says, did you like that they were burning the Korok in the Olympics picture? I thought of you when you thought of me when you saw it. Oh, I in fact did not see that. Let me go to your post here. Oh yeah, this. I did see it and I reacted to it. I memory hold it. Yeah, that was real funny. Oh God. Yes, I want to do it's much deserved too. It is so richly deserved. Sorry. Within the next, I would say 48 hours or maybe 72 hours if we're having to account for extra stuff. You know, it'll be over. We can move on to a surprisingly difficult mod ROM / ROM hack. I did more playtesting with it this weekend, and I'm glad I did. There were a few things I was going to have some difficulty with if I did not do that. Let's see, we got plenty of porgy, got plenty of salmon, got plenty of hardy bass, got plenty of stealth fin trout, glowing cavefish, plenty of ancient arowana, got sneaky river snail, razor claw crab. Okay, yep, that part is done. Got fruits and vegetables. Oh, I should actually probably be up here because that's where the fruit is. Let's see, we've got 10 apples, 8 highland tomatoes, 4 spicy peppers, 3 stem bulbs. That's going to be down there. 5 wild berry, 4 palm fruit, 2 golden apple, 6 swift carrot. That's down there. 2 hardy radishes, 3 volt fruit, 3 hydromelon, 4 fortified pumpkin, 2 mighty banana, 1 fleet lotus seed, 1 endura. I have plenty of endura carrots. Plenty of sun pumpkins, big hardy radishes. Okay, that takes care of that. So what's left is the other items now, and then I think we're good here. 5 golden rings. 4 Scottish... it's not how that works. Is it 4 Scottish hens? I don't think that's correct. No, yeah, it's 3 French hens, not 4 Scottish hens. 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. It's amazing, like old songs that, or old sort of carols, I forget like that. Let's see, do we have acorns? 3. Do we have goat butter? Yeah, we've got plenty of that. Do we have the 5 oil jars? Yes. Wheat, milk, yep, we've got plenty. Bee honey, yeah, I've got double. Hylian rice. Hateno cheese, we got 7 times the amount we need. 4 times the amount of bird eggs. 5 times about 5 times the amount of cane sugar. 5 times the amount of monster extract, more than enough dark clumps, and then gotta find a fang here. 1 bokoblin fang, 1 piece of wood, we have plenty of that. Hot-footed frog. Yep, I got the hot-footed frog. I have the tireless frog one right here. We have butterflies, yes, we have all of those. We have fireproof lizards, bladed rhino beetle, rugged rhino beetle, sunset firefly, deep firefly, hardy lizard, sticky lizard, we've got those. 1 chickaloo tree nut, and a fairy, which we have 3 of. Yep, that's everything. That is absolutely everything. All right. So with that out of the way, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and, cut the overlay and everything, and why don't we get started? I think we should probably head over here. I should have already been teleporting there, but it's fine. Just gonna reset that timer real quick. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to be able to say, outside of 1 or 2 things left, it'll be nice to be done with all this. Now I just need to find the cook pot, which I believe is over here. Not exactly the spot in the thumbnail. Not exactly the place in the thumbnail I was looking for, and I forgot to replace a weapon. I guess I will be doing that off camera again. Yay. This. Perfect. Alright, let's actually kill the overlay, and I will see you guys, on the flip side of this. Okay. Can everyone hear me properly? I spent a long time with the mic muted, so I'd like to just make sure that the audio is coming in nice and clean. Let me go ahead and also unkill the soundboard for Mr. Shiny, among others. Or something is not working with the thing. Thank you to both Mr. Shiny and Mr. Gordagoku. Okay, my keyboard is apparently doing the thing again. Yeah, I think it's doing the thing. Yeah, sure is. Hang on. I have to manually activate the hotkey for this. Okay, that should... that did not take long. Thank you for the redemption. I apologize for the lack of sounds for those that are coming in, or for those that missed yesterday, or not yesterday's, Friday's stream when we were doing the armor upgrades. Again, I did this mostly for to maintain control over the audio, make sure. Speaking of, I also need to bump up a whole bunch of timers, among other things. Oh, or no, those are hotkeys. But yeah, I believe this does do it. Let's see, Mr. Gordagoku says, does that do it? Congrats, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Shiny says he had to be the first to do some redemption testing. I appreciate that, Mr. Shiny. I don't like, killing my soundboard. I don't like doing that, but... Well... We gotta... I mean, again, this is I need to control the audio very finely for the stream, and that's also why all the overlays were killed and everything. I needed that pristine footage. Granted, I probably could have edited the VOD to get what I wanted out of it, but this way it's pristine and right where I want it right from the beginning. I want to make sure I have taken care of. There's a couple of things in the recipe book. Mainly to Mr. Gordagoku, who might have been watching the Olympics at the time, in which case, ignore me. But there were a couple instances where I got a recipe wrong, such as with the honeyed fruits. That recipe very specifically, the entry for that in the workbook should read as, there should be coarser bee honey instead of goat butter in that spot. So there are a couple of things I need to clean up, yay, with the charts. But otherwise, everything is... I'm not going to... Thankfully, even though I've recorded this, I feel fairly confident that I do not need to, actually edit the video or anything. I can just put some timestamps. What was I saying? My brain literally broke mid-sentence. Mr. Gordagoku says you didn't notice any mess-ups, so you don't know. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I really don't expect people to watch this. I'm going to be completely frank with folks. If people want to watch it, to serve as like a bit of a checklist, go right ahead. But I totally expect people to go watch a more edited VOD that shows strictly the recipe cards and nothing else. No weird jumps in animation, nothing of that sort. I am going to go ahead and start our timer. But I'm doing this for posterity. And as far as I'm concerned, I have accomplished my goal today. Mr. Shiny says, only with those lovely pink squares a redemption board is sound. Yes, sir. It is nice to have the soundboard intact again. I will have to kill it for, like, the actual final fight. But that should be the last time the soundboard gets killed for a long time. Mr. Gordogoku says you cook so much it was like normal cooking. you right though. That is I can and in fact do sometimes spend 2 hours cooking. Even when you account for prep time, I know I'm personally a slow chef. I got Burger King hands, okay? I got tiny hands. But these tiny hands are clumsy. These tiny hands couldn't throw a dart to save my life. Could not do it. For those that are new or have not been here, wait, you can't redeem give him a squeeze right before the final battle starts? Well, of course you can. Of course you can, Mr. Shiny. It's just I don't know if the final battle is going to have cutscenes or not. Well, okay, I know it's going to have cutscenes. Let me try to articulate better what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a clean break to allow people to, wish me luck or use other redemptions as they see fit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Like, if there's some kind of walk up to the final fight, like the real final fight, because I know you've got a gauntlet you have to fight beforehand. If there's some kind of walk up to that, then, we can plan. I can let you guys do that. If not, I'll probably try to put a pause or go to the home screen or something so that people can, do the last minute send-offs before we, mute the overlay and things. Like I was saying, for those that are new here, that timer is how long we have left together as a stream. I did mention this in the announcements. I'll mention it again. This stream and Friday's stream of last week are targeted streams. We come in, we chit-chat, we do the thing, we chit-chat some more, and then we're done. These are short streams. The final fight may not be or it definitely isn't a targeted, we come in and do the thing and get out, because, we'll have the post-game review, we'll have the glitches, we'll have all that stuff. I expect tomorrow's stream to be a pretty big one, and I think that is fair compensation for, that's fair compensation for both Friday's stream and today's stream. That we're short, we're in for 2.5 hours and we're out. Mr. Shiny, how was your weekend? If and you don't mind my asking, and I'll extend that question to other people as well. I did talk about the weekend before, before we started, but I wanted to give people a chance to kind of like check back in or check in if they hadn't, that kind of thing. My weekend was okay, because I don't believe in asking questions I do not answer myself, unless I have already very clearly given an answer within the last few minutes. That's usually my protocol. I should, instead of saying starting, this should read ending. I can change that. 1 second. Mr. Shiny says, you've been to a darts tournament of duets, double in, double out. Ah, nice. It was certainly fun. I'm glad you're enjoying your dart tournaments, my fine friend. You make any placements or, just you came in, you had fun, whether you placed or not, you don't really care, but you came in and did your thing, which is also perfectly fine. I was just curious. While that conversation is cooking, I can't tell you guys, I still feel like I should be able to pinch myself, or, I should be able to tell myself,
sure, Jan.
And the next thing I know, I'll blink or open my eyes or something, and again, we'll be back, right after the 5th stage, or maybe even before we did the whole deal with Sidon, maybe even before that. I feel like I should be able to pinch myself and I'll realize it's February of 2026 and we're still in the middle of the game. It almost feels unreal to me that tomorrow is going to be a really big day. I know that it is, but it's the I'm trying to describe this like really subtle feeling of what happens when a super long Let's Play project kind of comes to an end. And I guess it's not quite over for me after, the game ends because because I don't even know what kind of map completion percentage we're gonna get. And the map completion percentage and the quest tracker are actually the only things that count for the game's official 100%. Did you see everything? Do you have all? Did you did you see everything? Did you complete every quest? Okay. Of course, me as a completionist, and what most people consider to be completion, involves a lot more than those things. So, I'm putting a lot. I'm putting a lot higher of a standard on myself than the game puts on me, and I'm very aware of that. But that's part of the joy. I like being able to show you guys, every inch of the game we're playing. Now, with Reforged, with Elden Ring Reforged, that I'm probably not going to be able to do that because I'm not even there to do that in the first place. It's going to be, it's going to be, we're going to do a challenge. Where we're going to be doing a challenge run. And I probably still need to do some routing on top of that. Like, I can't probably just go straight into a run, or I'm going to have problems. Lots of stuff has changed, and that series is still not done. Mr. Shiny says I'm sorry, I am about to miss a sentence. Mr. Shiny says this time you and your friend ended 4th? Nice. But at the moment, we've been playing some incredibly good darts. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. When you type darts, you feel nervous due to the fact of the F being really close to the D key. Ah, yes. This time, me and my friend have ended in 4th, but at the moment, we've been playing some incredibly good farts.
Sure, Jan.
Oh, give it a rest.
Yeah, I deserve the sure Jan for that one. Sorry, I had to have fun with that statement. Mr. Shiny says it's revealed after beating the final boss. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like the map completion percentage and the quest tracker are revealed. We get a nice star on our file. I'm aware. Mr. Shiny says all completion percentages are shown by then. Yeah, it's the stuff that the game... I've done my homework. It's the stuff the game isn't saying. Truly. Mr. Gordogoku says, you'll get that 100? I sure hope so. And then Mr. Gordogoku also says, the Hero's Path should help pretty much if you miss some places, but that won't happen. Hero's Path ain't gonna help me. I would be very inclined to agree with you normally, but I've had I've had to like double back over myself so many times. I've played this game for so many hours that I'm sure that I have run the absolute gambit. The absolute gamut, the full range of what I'm allowed to track in terms of steps. In fact, while we're here and we're talking about that, let's do a little fact checking on hero mode, or make sure I've got that right. Hero's Path mode. Like, how many steps do we get? I think it's like 200,000. Like, per... It would help if I spelled correctly on my phone. Yes, I know I need to solve a CAPTCHA so that you can prove I'm human. Fantastic game. according to ZeldaDungeon.net, it doesn't really... it doesn't specify that there's a mechanical difference, so I'm going to assume 200 hours. Mr. Shiny says the finger slip would really stink, wouldn't it? Yeah, it sure would. Yes. I think I might just need to restart the computer, once the stream is over. I did not mean to click on Windows Edge, I'm sorry, Microsoft Edge. Yuck. Gross. Please get this. Come on, Microsoft. Load so I can close. Thanks. Of course, I would have to do all of this manually. I do not understand why Firebot does this, but it does. That would be this hotkey. I wonder if it's because the numpad is on, which I think it has to be for the hotkeys to work. But yeah, Mr. Shiny says you think it's recent 256 hours of movement. ZeldaDungeon.net says 200 hours, and that's based on Breath of the Wild. It could be 256. I'm inclined to think it's 256 because bigger game, like more places to go split between the 3 maps, but Mr. Gordogoku says, you too, but you'll find where you've been no matter the timing. That's true. I mean, this thing has probably gone through a lot of places. In fact, why don't we play it while we're, like, look, we definitely did not start here. So I've played so much that, starting at Lookout Landing is not a thing. We're like way over here. Mr. Shiny says it's not time to edge now. Oh, don't press play. You mean just look at the lines? I did not mean to do this. Dang it. Now I get to do this, manually, which super stinks. Mr. Gordo, yeah, definitely. Mr. Shiny says it's not time to edge now. Too true. Thankfully, at least there's not that much of a time delay. Mr. Gordogoku says exit the map and turn it back on. There we go. That's a bit better. Look at all of that beautiful green footage. Fun fact, I inspired a lot of the green glow based off of this part of the color scheme very specifically. Mr. Jason, welcome on back, good sir. Good to see you again. You're back now for the tail end of the stream. Yes, sir, that is correct. We've got probably about 5-ish minutes together. How have the other streams you've been attending? Mr. Gordogoku says those lines are where you've been all together. Oh, yeah. If I look... These are the parts that are up here in the sky. And then we have all these parts that are, in the depths. There's maybe like a couple of blank areas that I've never felt the need to traipse through. But that shouldn't be... Again, the thing here for me is that it's going to be the preloaded zones that are going to be a problem. It is either the stuff you get on the map or something else along those lines. Mr. Gordo Goku says if you see a circle of trees, most of the time it's a grove. Yes, sir. That is correct. And if you've bumped into a forest, remove that. If you've bumped into a forest or like woods on the surface, the grove is in the exact same spot. So like you can use the fact that the surface and the depths mirror each other a lot in order to discover a lot of the same spots. Less spots are labeled, but I mean, come on, there's not a gulch down here. There are wilds over there. That makes a lot of sense. They're not exact. It's not exact 1-to-1, but it's pretty close. Mr. Jason says, other than Miss Carly's and yours, none, good sir. You've been out with family for the majority of stream. Nice. I hope. I do hope that went smoothly for you. Mr. Jason says, you know one thing though, good sir? You have so far collected 7,038 hotel tickets in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and each and every time you type hotel, you instinctively go to typing chocolat after it. Fair. Habit. Mr. Gordo Goku says you wish you would have known that. It's something that takes a lot of time to dawn on people. Like, you don't learn until way, way later, or if you've been attentive and reading the Yiga clan logs in the strongholds down here in the depth, you don't really... You could go the whole game and not know or even realize that what you're seeing is, you know, the same map, just colored differently, and instead of water sources, you have actual real walls. I think that's the part that really trips up a lot of people is, you know, you're expecting water where the walls are down in the depths, and that's just... It's all, again, it's also not 1-to-1, so you just tend to lose a lot of, like, attentiveness to detail, or you get mixed up after looking at the maps for so long. I totally get that. Mr. Shiny says, you've heard Woods and immediately thought of that prank interview with Elijah Wood. Oh no. When will you wear wigs? Oh, yeah, the guy's face is, like what? I think the word is implacable. You can't not know who Elijah Wood's face is unless you, like, put him under a serious knife to do it. Yeah, dude's got a distinctive face. Hold on one sec. Yeah, it's like, Elijah Wood has, like, the same thing going on as, like, Yuri Lowenthal. Yuri Lowenthal is a voice actor. You know him. You might know him from Soul Calibur 5 as Patroclus, or you might know him from Fallout New Vegas. He voices a fair number of NPCs there. He voiced a lot of lines. Trying to think of some other spots where you might know him. He's a huge anime voice actor, so I couldn't tell you what kinds of animes he was part of. Mr. Shiny says, and his blue eyes. Oh, yeah. Blue eyes? Yeah. Dude has amazing eyes. Mr. Gordo Goku says Elijah Woods was in Back to the Future 2 as a kid. That's a baby toy in the cafe. Yeah, he's been a child actor too. Alan says, what's the ending mean? I'm glad you could make it for the very tail end of the stream, Alan. Good to see you. Of course, I will probably wait 5 or 10 minutes before I cut the stream. But ending is, you know, this is a short stream today. We came in, we cooked all the recipes. I'll just briefly flash the recipe cards. We got all 228 of them. And, you know, I don't want to drag things out for 4 hours when we could be done in 2. You know what I'm saying? It's about being efficient. but it is good to see you, Aelin. How are you doing? If and you don't mind my asking. I'll just recycle the timer here. However, nobody should pay attention to the timer that seriously while we're waiting to close out chats. It's so we all explode, says Mr. Shiny. Obviously, yeah, and yeah, the one of the last times we're gonna be ramming anything. Well, that's not true. Not if you count like, you know, bomb explosions and you know, the ultimate trial. We're gonna be using bomb arrows or bombs a lot in there. And also, if you count Elden Ring fire spells, there will be lots of explosions on the screen too, possibly. Not to start with, but toward the end when you're casting super, like, big, massive spells, yeah. Aelin says, good, you got your girlfriend her Valentine's gift? Nice, nice. I trust she was overjoyed or pleased to have that. That's awesome. I remember making a Valentine's Day. I was about to say Valentine's gay, and I was about to, you know, kick myself. Not that there's anything wrong with that, mind you, but that's not what I meant to say. Valentine's Day gift. Alan says you haven't given it to her yet, but you're going to give it to her on Friday. I hope she is pleased with it. That's really nice. That's very endearing. I was in high school when I made this Valentine's Day gift. I happened to be taking a metals like a metals shop course. You go in, you work with the MIG welders, the TIG welders. You work with the lathing machine. It's not set up like a smith shop, but most people know what welding is. Yeah, I sanded down and polished some sheet metal and, you know, cut out the shape of a heart and and I bored out the shape of a heart in one of the plates of metal, and then I painted it over with pastel paint and tried to give it to her as a gift. And that never happened. I ended up giving it to my mom instead, which is fine, honestly. Mr. Shiny says, Valentine's gay is something you wouldn't mind? Too true. Too true. It's not a joke, but we should definitely give it some applause anyway, because diversity and inclusion, and diversity is a strength, etc., etc. Mr. Jason says, Mr. Jason was quite disappointed, Mr. Coin. You had cooked up a deliciously evil plan with that pipe maze, and then people who you invited managed to get the prize sooner than you expected. I mean, it is just, you know, jump through pipes till you get it. I mean, people deal with pick-a-pipe all the time. The issue is pick-a-pipe in the game, and in the game in which pick-a-pipe is so famously feared, it is because often pick-a-pipe results in you dying, and then you have to replay a bunch of level to get to the pick-a-pipe and hopefully not die again. It's because the pick-a-pipe is set up to take your time. Take a lot of your time until you get it right. And then it takes no time whatsoever. Animal Crossing, there's not really that much you can do to troll people. You can you can bury pitfalls in front of the pipes. You can, I personally think that in Animal Crossing, if you wanted to make a real trollish pick-a-pipe, you would use the entire island, not a small section of it, but like the entire island. And you would have to set up an area that could only be reached via the pipe you want to use. And then all the other pipes are spread out with a couple of centralized pipes as well. That's a real teleporter maze. That'll really get you lost for a couple of hours. When you put all the pick-a-pipes in the same place in Animal Crossing, and I guess maybe also you should account for the take a picture. You can capture a picture on your Switch. You could do that. And you can make notes on which pipes you've tried. Or you can have a functioning eidetic memory, your choice. And then eventually you'll solve it. Might take forever, but you could do that. Mr. Gordo Goku says, that's fun to say, pick a pipe. Yes, there are a lot of SMM2 or Super Mario Maker 2 troll phrases that I'm aware of, and pick a pipe is one of them. Usually when you hear pick a pipe, yes, it's funny, but it also is supposed to make you, this sentiment right here.
Oh, give it a rest.
That sentiment right there. Mr. Jason says you were more evil than Miss Carly last time, Mr. Coin. You got her to swim the circumference of your entire island to the back beach just to get a single item. Yeah, that's classic. That's classic trollishness, all right. Mr. Shiny says, oh, speaking of evil, you've cooked up a seriously evil deck in the Pokemon TCG Pocket that will win once the opponent places their Mega Pokemon. Mr. Shiny says, it's good you guys don't have a TCC Minecraft server. About that, it is defunct. It is not in use, but there were channels for that type of thing back in the day. And if I imagine if enough people got a hankering for it, they could probably set that back up. If they so desired. Yeah, like I said, it's defunct. It's not in use. No one's used it a long time. There are one or two other games, I forget which ones, where there were codes, or you know, like peer-to-peer type things. Mr. Shiny says you can imagine all those traps. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Aelin, do you have out of curiosity, do you, I assume you probably made a card to go along with the gift, right? Some people don't do cards. I'm just kind of curious. Don't answer if you don't want to, of course. Aelin says you have a canker sore on the inside of your lip. Oh, no. Yeah, those suck. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. I hope that clears up for you sooner rather than later. That's annoying. That's worse than a sore taste bud. Sore taste buds take a long time. Or can take a long time if you don't do anything about it. Mr. Jason says the TCC's Minecraft server is non-existent now, but you're sure that someone will be able to navigate the newly added red tape to set one up if they do desire it? Yes, I get the feeling that this is it is a mental exercise, Mr. Jason, and not much further than that, honestly. Alan says, and yeah, thank God for Walgreens. Yeah, I mean, say what you want about Walgreens, and, you know, they don't always treat their employees the best, but the store itself is, you know, it's a pharmacy chain, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. There's nothing inherently wrong with pharmacy chains, especially because these days Walgreens, like, it still serves as a pharmacy, but it almost, how do I word this? Pharmacies, the Walgreens in particular almost stops being a pharmacy unless you go to the back of the room. Otherwise, like, in order to generate money, like actual real money and people not paying for insurance, you know, you gotta pay for that space somehow. Walgreens, like, sells snacks, drinks, makeup, those kinds of things. Mr. Shiny says you would be the one that annoys everyone with potions. Yeah, you're giving me Minecraft flashbacks, Mr. Shiny. Mr. Jason says, but yes, Mr. Coin, you see no reason to keep the Minecraft server area or the associate role associated role. It was fun at the time, but then you went absolutely zero fun whatsoever. It's less that and more, you know, the TCC is a more serious place now. It's a more serious place. We're trying to do a bunch of stuff with it. We have very little time to entertain that, but I don't think in the future when things simmer down, if people wanted to, let's say, create a server for the TCC in such a game or in a different game, well, you know, they can do that individually, and then they could probably ask for some kind of space, like a forum channel or something along those lines. I think that would be acceptable. The TCC isn't organizing it. The TCC is the holding space for such a thing. Nobody gets any roles or anything, but the TCC would act as the, if you want to find people that are doing this thing, you're more than welcome to do that. But otherwise, you know, no need. Mr. Jason says, you say, but you are not far off the truth. Fair. Alan's is basically a convenience store with an extensive makeup section and drugs. Yes, very, very much so. Mr. Jason says, oh, Mr. Coin, what you like about the TCC is that it is a feel-good thing knowing that we could back people or movements. Oh, absolutely. Like we're currently backing Robot Mill. Yeah, I need to put the finishing touches on that forum space so that they can use that. I need to set the permissions for that. Well, I am going to take this time to, if you guys want to ask me, you know, questions for the next 8 minutes, you're more than welcome. I guess we might as well, you know, conduct a little tiny bit of an AMA. You guys are either free to, you know, just talk normally, or if you want something a bit more binding, you can use 50 channel points to, you know, ask anything. Your choice. Alan says, okay, yeah, bye. Very well, Alan. I hope your Valentine's gift goes over well. Thank you so much for stopping by, good sir. It was good to see you. I do hope I get to see you sooner rather than later, especially for the big day tomorrow. But if not, no big deal. Any time that you're here is a good time indeed. That said, do rest well, take care of yourself, and do stay safe out there, my lovely senator. And with that, 7 minutes and 30 seconds of AMA time. Effing you guys want. Mr. Jason says you were going to ask that, good sir. What is the ETA for Ganondorf? Tomorrow. So my basic plan is going to be, we come in, we talk to all our companions once, because I thought that would be a nice piece of dialogue. You know, just go in and talk to them before we do the big battle. You know, turn in the remaining quests. See what happens. And then jump into the depths and begin. Like, go down to Hyrule Chasm and properly begin the end. And I'm going to make sure it's nighttime for the basic reason of Gloom Hands. We got 1 Gloom Hand and 2 Lionels left to kill. Both of them are both of the Lionels are in the final, like, gauntlet. Gloom Hands I'm less sure about. Mr. Jason says if that Addison signed keyring wasn't £13 or limited to 3, you might order 81 of them. Yeah, that's a bit too much money. Even for a gag like that, I could not. How many pounds would that be? Just do a quick napkin calculation here. So, and I'm dropping any. Does the UK have sales tax? Or like, you know, a tax on things that you purchase? I know we do that here in the States. But a lot of other places have, like, whatever that tax is, you know, included. Okay, so the math is simpler. The tax is just there already. The price you see is the price you pay. Makes sense. Wish we could do that. £1,052 and 19 pence is the price for that, for 81 signs. Yeah, not worth it. Not worth it at all, in my opinion. You have a funny story, Mr. Coin? Oh, do tell, Mr. Jason. Do tell. And while you're saying that, you know, if I don't get the chance for whatever reason tomorrow or, you know, the day after, thank you guys for watching the LP. I really do appreciate that. It's been a long, long road, and I'm very happy that we are beginning to see the end of that road. Truly, I do mean that. We've come such a long way from June of last year. June of last year. To put that into context, let me make sure I'm looking at this correctly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay. I thought it was 10. Actually, because of how we changed things up toward the middle of the LP, where we were streaming more often, we've been here 8 months. 8 months. We could have probably cut this time down to 6 months if I had been streaming every day right from the beginning. Mr. Jason says you remember this one video game retailer and you wanted to order from them, but it was £4.80 per delivery, and you thought, nah, no thanks, that will eventually add up. But with Hotel Chocolat, £4.95 each on top for delivery, okay. I mean, you're willing to pay a lot for things you actually like. And like a lot. It's true. And I when I say you, I don't even mean just you specifically, Mr. Jason, but if we're collecting anything, you know, we're willing to put up a lot in order to collect that thing. If we're really serious about that, then yes, absolutely. Or, you know, in the case of Hotel Chocolat, you know, you eat it. But food is like an especially rewarding journey. Not only remember, but you get to enjoy it. Mr. Jason says, or goes on to say, 8 months is surely quite a long time to tarry, good sir. It is. Absolutely. No, I don't need to edit that. I need to do this. Oh, and I guess I need to go back and make sure. This week, like I said, this weekend was kind of foobar. There are a lot of things I should have done and didn't do. And now I have to go rectify that, you know, after the stream is over. Also, you know, I got one last bit of grinding to do, you know, ladies and gents. I got one weapon I gotta go replace. One more shield. 3 bows. I got food to cook up one last time. All that fun business. I mean, at least I'll enjoy this part, because I know, you know, what's lying ahead. Mr. Jason says 11 more clients now, good sir. Nice. Yeah, membership in the TCC is coming along pretty nicely. That's good. I'm hoping that as we... Mr. Jason says, by the way, Mr. Coin, as per your official policy, you'll keep this spoiler quite light. When you go do Ganondorf, make a lot of Gloomheal food. Okay. I was going to do that anyway. At least have a few items that heal Gloom, but I will definitely make sure I do that. Maybe even as much as like a full page's worth. And I've concocted all the recipes for that so I can do that today. On top of video editing, gonna be doing video editing a lot today. Mr. Gordo Goku says you still don't understand what you can do in the TCC, but thank you for letting you join. No worries, no worries. There aren't a whole bunch of lounge spaces in the TCC. That is something else I'd like to fix, or at least take a look at. Would be like just a place for people to chat. We've got places for verified streamers to like chat. We don't necessarily have a place for just any old person under the sun. I think that's supposed to be main reception, but that's not what main reception is for. So things I need to think about before coming up with a serious proposal, but I do want to look at that. Mr. Jason says Mr. Jason is very much looking forward to that battle, good sir. Ganondorf did a spoiler redacted that surprised you. Oh. Mr. Jason says too true, Mr. Cohen. Even the executive has a lounge. We just need to do that for people who aren't verified streamers. That's all that's gotta really happen. And thankfully for the vision that you want to pursue with that, Mr. Jason, a lounge is already a place in a corporate office, so at least the theming of it will be consistent. I just actually have to draft a proposal. That's all. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We managed to stretch this out to almost 3 hours. I want to point that out. I was intending to be here for 2 hours. We've managed to be here for three hours. Somehow. Mr. Gordo Goku says just make sure you have weapons full for the travel to Ganon. Yes, that is my intention. I have farmed a lot of different weapons already. I need to put horns on one of them. I have also fused a Silver Lionel's Saber Horn to the Master Sword after breaking it. So we have a really, really high attack power weapon to move with. Mr. Jason says, indeed, good sir. With the TCC, the areas are... Okay, hold on. There are a couple corrections here. The areas are either a lounge or a register. Okay. Got it. That took me a second. I had to, like, take out words that didn't make much sense to me. But I think that's what is meant overall. A board as in a bulletin board. Okay. Not board as in group of people. Board as in a bulletin board. So a board, a lounge, or a register. Got that. Mr. Gordo Goku says, awesome. Yes, sir. I have planned extensively for these last few days. I need to do a little bit more, but my planning should be showing through right now. Mr. Jason says, and then we just have the board. Too true. My lovely senators and inductees, this has been another episode of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Possibly the second to last episode, barring the video essay. Only Mr. Jason's most trusted people. Too true, good sir. Too true. You guys know the algorithmic things to do. And if you want to know where any of my hallowed halls are, just look underneath the video player on Twitch for the link tree. And do feel free to also check the description at the bottom on YouTube. There should be a link tree link in there. In the link tree, there should be a Discord already, or a Discord icon at the top middle. Just click on that, and it'll take you right to it. Or we could... I could show that right here before we leave. I'd love to have you on the Discord. I work really bloody hard on it. We just concluded the vote item for the next game. Or for the next major game, I should say. I want to play a palate cleanser first, but... We've just concluded that vote item. Mr. Jason says, when you told one of your friends about the Nook Miles tickets, they replied, it's going to be hard, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Mr. Jason says, people know Mr. Jason so well. At least, I mean, they're a friend. I would expect them to. Mr. Gordo Goku says, peace and thank you for your time. No problem, good sir. Anytime. You guys know where my hallowed halls are now. I'd love to have you within them. We post pictures there. We exchange statements all the time. I release thumbnails to you guys. Mr. Jason says, before you go, good sir, question. Last question. I've got time for exactly one question. And the reply to that question. Mr. Jason says, tell you, while live, what do you think of the picture that you sent on Discord? I'll take a look. That's a nice music. Actually, this doesn't quite look like a music studio. This is like... Is that a replica of your office? No, but I could see that you've circled some things in here. Mr. Jason says, all the things you've circled IRL, you have them IRL and in the game. Nice. And the massive TV, of course. Absolutely. Yeah, that's quite the station. I don't really have too much to say beyond that. I do want to give you a bit of a better response, you know, a better typed response. But yeah, it looks nice. You probably worked really hard to curate that, you know, in Animal Crossing. We can probably continue the conversation once the cameras stop. So, that said, my name is Coinstamp, everybody. This has been the second to last episode of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out. You're very welcome, Mr. Jason. Absolutely. Do stay safe. Take care of yourselves out there. You're welcome in my hallowed halls anytime now that you know where they are. I'll see you guys next time. And with that, goodbye.